And the last category, which is basically the booth representing ICS team, that is design, develop, and deliver. So to give away this award, may I request Aki to please come onto the stage, please. Any guesses who has got the maximum number of votes? Where's your R&D montage? So may I request Kiran, Manjesh, and team to come onto the stage, please. Prasanna, you can come onto the stage. Where's your R&D guys? Please come onto the stage.
Yes, please make some noise.
Yes, please. Are you ready? Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I think this is the last one, yeah, right? Okay, so with that, I would like to basically thank all the ICS chair, co-chair, and the operations. Without this, it was really difficult. This constant support has really helped this booth and crop out team, and I think I would also like to thank all our volunteers, Lucia, Ambika, Srinivas, and Hina, and along with that, Jahur. Last but not the least, who has been really kind of co-leading the crop up and as well as the booth committee. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for voting and watching the videos, and thank you so much. Enjoy your rest of your day.
Okay, we'll go with scavenger hunt for the next.
We have 30 participants, and then we have 100 points. 3 people both for 100 points, scored 100 points. And then 50 people around, 90 points. 4 people got 90 points, and then 8 people got 80 points, and the rest got 80 points and below and less. So any guess? I can see 3 people from Field Solutions, and then one from breeding, and then one from regulatory science. So I would like to call on Hina, Apurva, Kambe, Lokesh, and Sharat. Please, Lokesh, please come. Congratulations.
I request Vidya to come on stage for. Congratulations, winner. Sharath, Lokesh. Sharath, the youngest FT, joining. Yeah, yeah. And Apurva from Regulatory Science. Yeah, right. Okay. Oh, Kambe one, who you want to take? Kambe? Shalini? Oh, Shalini was in our committee. Shalini can take for Kambe. No, Shalini will take. Oh, she's coming. Yeah. Thank you. I will just take 2 minutes. I just want to thank entire networking committee, Lokesh with me, Shalini, Richard, Nilesh, and Anand. Okay, I think they have worked relentlessly. You have seen the networking sessions for first 2 days. Then we had a selfie booth for you guys to have a memory. Also, you have no scavenger hunt also, right? So all these things, I think without these guys' cooperation, it would have not been possible. So big round of applause for them. Okay. So everybody knows, right? So we are recognizing different committees, right? So as a networking committee, we have come up with one small surprise. We know these are the 3 pillars, right? Design, develop, and deliver. So on behalf of entire other supporting committees, we just want to recognize their efforts. I know Partha, most of the times when we are extended core committee meeting, Partha has taken more than 50% of his calls from the field. So always used to tell guys, please bear with me. But relentless approach and the kind of focus, it has really helped for us, right? So coming to Kranti, I think a meticulous planner, I can say. We were just reviewing the things, right? Many things on Saturdays, Sundays, and you can see this line should be green, this should be on top, this should be on backside. So much of keen observations. I think many of us were in that group, WhatsApp group, but the kind of observation Kranti has, it's amazing, right? That's why you see all those things neat and clean. So kudos to you, Kranti. Lot of patience. So I think he is one of the very good and a lot of patience, right? The way. And the third man comes Prasanna, right? Everybody knows. So only one thing I just want to say from Prasanna. I think one DNA what we should learn from Prasanna is connect and patience. I think the man with patience, right? So thanks, Prasanna. I think I was example I can give. When we started listing out for printing the ID cards. So me myself revised that list for 5 times. Then I wrote to Prasanna and Partha, no more changes. So this is done. But still the message comes from Prasanna, these are last 5 we have to include, and somehow we have included, right? So that's what it matters, He was so meticulous in providing the feedback in late night, early morning, and he was the one, he ensures that people are reaching in time for the events and all those things. So thanks a lot all these guys, the small token from our side. So I request Mayank, Vidya and Srikant to come on stage. Yeah. So I request Srikant to give token for Partha, Vidya for Kranti. I just want a diversity here also, and Mayank for Prasanna. Okay. Please come. I think, thank you guys. I think these are the 3 pillars we really need to admire them, and a big round of applause for all of them, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Prasanna. Stage is yours. Thanks, Partha. Thanks, Kranti.
Okay. This was recognition to core team was not planned. Okay, so this is surprise for us also. Among many surprises today, this was one more. All right. Okay. So let's welcome Bindu and Jean on stage to honor our Excite speakers.
Thank you, Prasanna. And D3, please stay on stage. I call them the D3 guys now. And also my co-lead, Bindu, please join us in awarding the Excite Talk. Let's save the best for last. And being an Excite speaker, this is a special session that it only happened this year, specific and exclusive for APAC. So we are also giving to recognize their efforts and their dedication to come up on the stage and take on the challenge. We are giving a special certificate of appreciation and a special and exclusive gift only for Excite speakers. So if you want a gift next time, exclusive, go grab the opportunity. Let me just read to you the citation. Certificate of appreciation is awarded to Mark Dragic for delivering Excite Talk with the title, Let's Make the Call King of the Hill, given on 16th June of 2023 at Bangalore, India. Signed, of course, the three equally handsome gentlemen here. On behalf of Mark, may I request Shailesh sir to please come up the stage and receive the award. Thank you, and may we call on Indu? Thank you, Indu. Priyanka, please come up the stage. Next, our superwoman, superhero, Swapnil. Mohit, are you still around? On behalf of Mohit, may we have Kambe to please receive? Shailini is here. And Shailesh also. Please join. And finally, the last recognition for the genetically pure man, Anand.
Sorry, I just wanted to acknowledge Devish for coming up with this bright idea of converting all our PPTs to a movie format. Because of that, the Excite 2.0 was born. So thank you so much, Devish.
We are not done yet. Okay. So I want all the organizing committee to come up on stage. We need an organizing committee picture. Can you please come here? Okay. Okay. So we can do it later. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So we have a message. Okay. So we have a message from Srinath, APAC RDLT. So let's play the video.
Devesh, video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues. I trust so far you've had a very great experience at the ICS event. This is my first exposure to the ICS event, and I can assure you that I am enjoying it immensely. My name is Srinath Bala, and I head Field Solutions in APAC. Firstly, I have to apologize that I've not been able to be there physically for some reasons, personal reasons, but I am online and I'm trying to understand how great the scientific temperament that we as Bayer have. If there is one word to describe my feeling, it is pride. Yes, I am proud to be part of the R&D community in Bayer. There are a few things which I have observed connecting online, which I want to highlight and also appreciate some of the members of the team who've contributed to this feeling. Firstly, I'd like to hit on the agenda. The team which has put together this agenda has done a truly amazing job. They have arranged an array of interesting topics, looking at perform, looking at transform, and these topics are all well connected, super relevant, and focused not just on today, as I mentioned, but also on the beyond the curve developments. It truly is a learning experience. I learned a lot, and I think all of you as well have learned quite a bit from this experience. I thank this team which has spent hours putting together the agenda and enabling the success of these discussions. Secondly, the organization. Though I am not physically present in Bangalore, what little I see from connecting online, I can see this is an amazing organization. From panels to symposium to poster booths and whatnot, we are able to showcase the full strength of our innovations at Bayer. Way to go, team. The third aspect is the quality of presentation and interactions. Again, kudos to the speakers who have brought years of experience and tons of knowledge into a very simple and crisp format, which is understandable to audiences and even to laymen such as myself. The question and answer sessions have been very vibrant. People have asked bold questions, good questions, with an attitude to learn, and it shows how inquisitive our minds are, and this is what truly an R&D community must have. I'm also happy that while doing all this, we have not lost sight of our customers, and several speakers and in several topics, we've referenced our work to the value we create for our customers. This is truly amazing. And only thing, I think next time around we can do this. I would really like to see some farmers being part of some of the panels, or even coming ahead and speaking to us physically on what innovation means to them and what kind of innovation would they like to see in the future, but we can do it next time. There is always something better we can do it next time. Finally, I feel that we have also tried or listened from partners on how they see technology transforming agriculture. I believe it always makes good sense to listen well and learn from the experience of others. So that is also something which we've done very well, and thanks a lot for the team which has organized. In conclusion, I would say so far it has been a great show, and team, this is something which is an emotion that I cannot describe very well here. And I would like to specially thank Partha, Kranti and Prasanna for getting us all together for this exciting and enjoyable learning experience. All the best for the remainder of the event. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Srinath. Could record it and send it to us on time. Thank you so much, Srinath. We are not done yet. Lot more things to happen in the afternoon. We have biotech lab visit, posters and booth will be open. People who have signed up for biotech visit, please connect with Bindu and Anand, or like anyone you see on the organizing team. Arvind and a couple of teams are ready to give the tour. Please don't crowd that area, okay? So they can accommodate certain number of batches. Please express your interest, and then we will arrange that for you. We have FAO special lecture that's happening at 5:30 p.m. That will be live telecasted from Monheim. And after that, we have very solid fellows panel discussion that's happening. The APAC speaker is already here, so we are hosting the speaker for the entire globe from this auditorium. Okay, and before, normally that reflections happen at end of the day. We know that a lot of our colleagues need to leave to catch the flight, so we are requesting two of our leaders to come here and reflect upon how was their experience being through this ICS 2023 journey. So may I request Aki to come on the stage and provide your reflections.
Thank you very much, everyone. I think this is 4 days of the long journey, but behind of that, much long time people have spent. And thank you very much for your effort. And then, innovation itself cannot be automatically created. Innovation is start from the communication, team working, face-to-face discussion. And this is exactly great opportunity to have a network. I already had a lot of the network, already have a lot of idea for the next step of innovation. Thank you very much for creating such a great opportunity. Thank you very much, colleagues, that prepare for this nice environment. Thank you very much.
After hearing reflections from one of our Southeast Asia Pacific leader, I'm requesting Shrikant to come over stage and provide his reflections on ICS 2023.
Thank you, Prasanna. Aki has already mentioned, so when I got this opportunity, I was just going through a tremendously long agenda. So I don't want to miss out anything, so please pardon me if I take a little bit longer. But something that all three of you mentioned, which was many number of people behind the scenes who contributed to it. My sincere thanks to all of you. The next thing is thank you, the organizers and the APAC RDLT, for allowing Bangalore to host all of you guys. This is amazing. We often talk about the ecosystem that we have here in Bangalore. You heard from some of the global leadership team also when they are here. But just to see all of you guys coming together for this occasion was fantastic. We started the event with Bob Reiter saying how festive it is. And nobody hosts the festive occasions like us here in India, right? And we have gone from strength to strength from the very beginning to the award ceremony right now doing that. But some of the things that I just wanted to cover, this is my first ICS, so therefore I'm not really good in gathering my thoughts on the stage, but let's just recant what we saw. The first day, we started with the smallholder farmer discussions, fantastic. Oftentimes we think about what smallholder farmers is. We kind of think about how it means different to different countries, how it means from different to different farmer. So to kind of get an overall view about those things was fantastic. I'm going to skip now to the second day. Again, this thing with the drone technology, getting people in from outside in perspective was fantastic, I thought. That to me, and also with the rest of the team, I'm pretty sure they'll all agree. Wonderful education. Third, what I wanted to also mention was the Excite talk today. I mean, this was really fantastic to me because, if I stand here feeling exhilarated because this is an innovation summit, it was all encapsulated in the Excite talk. I again ask all of you to please join your hands together and make some noise for the Excite members. Thank you. See, goosebumps. The reason is, we went through all the preparations and whatnot, but to kind of capture that excitement in half an hour, 5 minutes of each talk was fantastic. And highlight to me today was also the DEI discussion. I cannot say thank you guys. Thank you, Indu, for putting that together. Lot of education, lot of information. So those were some of the highlights, and also congratulations to all the award winners, BRC. Sorry, I had to do that because oftentimes my team gets this flag of how we are present in Bangalore, we are present in the location, but we don't get called out. But I'm telling you that's not true. Okay, so everywhere I've gone, people know you guys, and then your collaborators know you guys. The stakeholders think very highly of you. Yeah, we are not self-promoting at all. So thank you very much, everyone. Thanks the organizers. So last thing. Wait, hold on. Science fellows. These are the people who work in background. And somebody was asking me if ICS is the only occasion when they come together. I hope not, and I know they are not. They are pulling all their might together to come up with something that can truly represent the APAC. Again, I have to say that mightily proud of you guys. You are our faces, you are our voices in the innovations and the science discussions. So make us proud. Again, last pitch, LifeHub is here. So let's use the best use of it. So it's not for Bangalore, it's for the APAC. So with that, thank you very much, and it was fun.
Okay, I know we are between lunch and you. We will close very shortly, but it is customary that normally we announce the chair for ICS 2024 and the dates before actually we close ICS 2023. Since we may not have majority of the crowd here, I am requesting Partha to give chair's remarks and also announce the 2024 chair.
First of all, thank you core team, thanks all the volunteers who have walked through. You are seeing 4 days event, but my first chair's call was started in 2022, September first week. So that day we were made together, and that was Lauren was also part of that chair team, because that time he was not decided to come to Singapore. First 1-2 months we started the meeting with the chairs team, he was also part. From there we have started designing the thoughts. Largely we wanted to do something different than what has been done, and we are trying to be more creative. And I was also more specific towards APEC because I wanted to bring the visibility of APEC to global. And that's the reason you can see the APEC agenda, in-person agenda is quite intensive but quite informative and different from others. You can see the other agenda, APEC agenda is completely different. I think that agenda is completely designed by us. And most important, new introduction was Mega Symposium. We are planning to bring more in-person interaction in the session. So we have decided that let's have something on stage. People can see, people can discuss, and people can interact. Because mini symposium was a complete virtual concept. People could only see in front of their desktop, which was, I feel it's boring. So it is had its value, but if we bring something which is in person, people can sit for hours together. So that was the concept Mega Symposium born, and we were initially not sure whether we'd get the travel approval and all, but I am happy that all Mega Symposium across the globe, which was hosted live in 8 Mega Symposium in 4 locations, except 1 or 2, 90% of the Mega Symposium speakers were online. They were attending the session in person. And that was a great support from RDLT. There was a special approval. Who has the Mega Symposium talk? They were approved from RDLT to join in person. That makes the importance of networking, and RDLT sponsors also right from the beginning trying to make it interactive. I am giving some background so that people who are interested to participate and work as a volunteer in ICS get some excitement. So second point is that the APEC agenda, we are doing little bit different, and you can see that first time from APEC opening session was gone live. Even Deepak knows that Deepak was here for some time, but he may left. Deepak knows that we had a good debate about having live agenda from APEC because there were some challenges, but we could make it, and it was quite impactful. And also we had some very creative events in APEC, like panel discussion, bringing commercial together to discuss. Excite Talk, all reasons there is no Excite Talk except APEC. So there are many more DEI sessions, Sikant was mentioning, which were all creativity from these all core team members and we reach out to the correct people. That's why who are working in ICS or in a core team needs to have good network. They can build during the journey, but they can also start working. So with this, I am still 9:30, I'm still chair for ICS 2023, but I'll be handing over baton to my deserving co-chair Kranti. So Kranti would be chairing 2024 ICS. And I am sure he will make it better than this year, and our support will be there. And feel free to join or meet Kranti if you are really interested to contribute to this Festival of Science. Kranti, you can share the dates for 2024 ICS. I'll keep that suspense for you.
Guys, before I announce 2024, I should thank one person, maybe committees, some committees, I will do that. Prasanna has been thanking everyone, but it is Prasanna who has pulled a lot of strings, You have done, you have pulled it very, very strongly. My situation was very different. One side Partha, who is always jumping, one side Prasanna, who is a very cool customer. I am in between, I don't know what to do. But we had very, very good challenging discussions. We never lost control. We were in such good coordination, collaboration. So I really thank you, Prasanna, for leading this team, for making this happen. When I visited for the first time here, I thought, okay, we can do it here. But the approvals required, the discussions that are required with this site. Just imagine the employees are not there for 1 week. Is it easy? And per day, if you convert the cost of this office, it will be in lakhs. So we got it for free of cost. Thank you very much for that, and thank you M4LT for that. And the local organizing committee, there are many, many people, they have really, they were running from pillar to post during last 1 month. I should thank them, and I don't know where is Niranjan especially. He has been a very good support. Such a good support. This morning when I needed the paracetamol Dolo 650, he has this in bag. He is such prepared. So there are a lot of committees, who worked really hard. You have seen, on the slide. You have put lots and lots of efforts, starting from networking, Excite, mega sims, mini sims, posters, communications, what not. These committees have showcased that we can do better to all rest 3 regions. So when I met people in Germany, they were telling me this time you guys are much better. Quality is much better. That's the kind of feedback which I have received. Kudos, guys. And at the last minute, we were running, we were a little surprised. We don't know how to do, what to do. There is a guy who came for our rescue from IT side, which is Devesh and Gagan. Without Devesh, we would have, lost some of the things in mega sims or in telecasting, something like that. So thank you, Devesh. Gagan, this guy, when I came, so when I said, I need to work on it, he has that experience. He gave me a laptop which is free of, any buyer policies. That really helped me, Gagan, in creating these creativities. Thank you very much. And I should not leave the stage without thanking Tillai and co-lead. They have put a lot of efforts. He is sitting in the corner, monitoring the chat, removing people, muting people, which is not so easy. Thanks. So with that, do you know why I am wearing this t-shirt? Someone is asking, who is that? No, this came from one of my good friends. That's why I am wearing that. But stay tuned to next year ICS. So this is from ATC SIA in Philippines. Okay. Yeah, but that's not the location. That's not the location. It came from that location. That's what I'm saying. Okay. That's not the location. I would still. Huh? Yeah.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah. If you give us budget. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the next year ICS is going to be from 17 to 21st of June. It's a week. I mean, it's 4 days, but week. Please block the week. Before going, from the stage, after announcing the dates, I would like to have you guys. I would like to have people whistling, people shouting. This is the excitement, right? I would like to have you into the committees. Please raise your hand. Speak to your managers. If it is a development opportunity, I would say this is a development opportunity because whatever you are doing will give you a lot of skills. It's not only putting the extra work. It's like, you are acquiring collaborative skills. It's like leadership skills. It's like, many skills you can acquire if you do this kind of activities. At the same time, I would like creative guys next year for sure. So we have put this benchmark here and then we have to take it next year we have to take it a step forward. This year we have proven to the world that APAC can do better. So if you see our quality, it is much better than any other region, to be honest. So we have to raise the bar next year. So people, colleagues, whoever have interest, please reach out to the managers, align with them and reach out to me. I need diversity. This time we will have diversity in the country's functions and how can I say, gender diversity as well, for sure. So we would like to have a lot of women into the committees, lead committees. This is my promise, Vijay, from here, looking at the session. So at least we make sure that one committee will be led by a woman colleague. This is my promise. So with that, I close and hand it over to Prasanna.
Just, we have thanked everybody for the beautiful stage that you see, the beautiful posters, the booths, setup, everything was not possible without support from Mantra Events. Okay, big round of applause to all the people on the console. And also Bayer event management team who helped us coordinate with Mantra and make sure that the event is running smoothly. Okay, small glitches were there, it is bound to happen. But I think, we were able to run the entire show without any major glitches. We were on time, we were able to, communicate on time, and then, we were able to take control of everything that was planned. We were able to run because of all of your support. Thank you. We will break for lunch now, but we are not forgetting all the committee members who are wearing blue tags. Please come here on stage for the pictures. Rest of the people can, start their lunch. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, ready? Ready, guys? Bus. Smile, all of you. Smile.
Kumar, in the.
Continue. Are you ready? Once more. Video. Okay, sir. 1 second. Continue video.
Continue, sir.
Cut short only. Continue. 30 seconds. ICS. Thank you. Okay.
ready? Ready, smart? PRC! 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 Thank you. PRC! 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 Thank you. Thank you, guys.
The first, I think about first 40 slides is from Bengaluru.
Yes.
Yeah, so you want us to control it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will ask Gagan, can you please move the slides please? Yeah, so now is in slide number 3. Gagan, please speak on the mic and continue to move the
I'm
slides.
just moving the slides. Can you confirm, is it visible? And you can see the same slides. It's now on a new plant breeding technique for sustainability growth of agriculture in India. Hello? Can you hear us?
Yes.
So, are you able to see the slides? I'm just changing the slides.
Yeah, we see them.
So are we good from Bangalore?
I believe so. Now, do you guys understand when we get into the fellows portion for the APAC section, you need to share your slides.
Three, so that'll give our audio person a second to bring the audio up, and then you guys just, count in your head 3 after I stop, and then you'll be good to go.
Okay, that will be fine.
Okay, thank you.
I just did a tie.
You.
What's happening?
Devesh, you ready to go?
Yes, all good.
Okay, everybody stand by. We'll start this thing in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, esteemed scientists, researchers, leaders, and ladies and gentlemen to this grand assembly of Bioscienceful session. In this vibrant gathering, we could celebrate the boundless spirit of discovery, innovation, and the collaboration that drives the scientific community forward. With that being said, I, Sunil Kumar Biradar, along with the other committee members of the fellow committee, we would extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you to this fellow session as we embark our journey, collective journey on scientific knowledge expansion and scientific excellence. The fellow session stands as a testament of power of unity in science, and this gathering serves as a platform for the brilliant minds to showcase their breakthrough research and to share the ideas. In this session, you will come across such 4 brilliant minds across the world who are going to share their knowledge and experience in the public-private partnership. And each speaker have 20 minutes to present their talk, and I request all the audience to put their questions on the platform, and at the same time please refer the speaker name. So with that being said, I call upon Dr. Satyendra, a senior scientist from Indian Institute of Rice Research, to show the light on public-private partnership on the new plant breeding methodologies in case of rice. Dr. Satyendra, over to you.
Thank you, Sunil. Hello, everyone. Namaste from India. I am Satyendra. I am coming from Indian Institute of Rice Research, and let me thank organizers for inviting me here and to share my thoughts and what we are doing in India, specifically with respect to rice research. So my talk in the next 20 minutes, I will try to cover, I have divided in 7 components, and I will try to cover what we are doing at Indian Institute of Rice Research, about my institute, and the major challenges that India is facing now, followed by a lot of other things that I will be talking during this next 20 minutes. So I come from ICAR, Indian Institute of Rice Research. This is basically a national rice research institute where we have got a mandate of basic and strategic research to develop technology under irrigated ecosystem. One of the major motto for us has been to coordinate the multi-location testing for developing the technology under irrigated ecosystem, and most importantly to disseminate those technology, capacity building, and then developing linkages with private partners and also with government agencies. We started in 1965 as a small coordinated project, but now in 2014 we became the National Institute. You know that India has become now the most populous nation in the world. We are highly competitive in every field, and we also are competitive in terms of population. So we became number 1, and to feed now the huge population, we need to produce nearly 1.68 million ton by 2050. It's a very challenging task, and most importantly, it would have been possible with the now new technologies. But what we are facing, all that we have to achieve, when we see the climate change impact, and we see the floods, droughts, unexpected rainfall, temperature, high temperature, and sometimes cold. So all that we have to achieve during the reign of climate change. The changing pest scenario and disease scenario has been very challenging to us. If you see down, in every 10 years, we see addition of new pests and diseases, and it has been a major bottleneck when we want to achieve the targets. Most importantly, not only the pest and diseases, but also when we talk in India, like we have got the diverse ecologies and also problematic soils. For example, you have got the hill ecology, you have got the rain-fed ecologies. So all that we have to customize those technologies for different ecologies. Plateauing crop productivity, specifically, we have not seen much genetic enhancement because of the narrow genetic base in the past few years. Nutrition security, not only just increasing the the productivity of the rice crop, but also to aid nutrient. So that is another challenge that we have to now accept it. Shrinking farm resources, farm land, and also water. We have not seen any further increase in the land. We are now almost 41 to 42 million hectare in rice from past several decades. And most importantly, the soil health and water quality, irrigation water quality. Of course, drinking water quality is another challenge, but then irrigation water quality, it is loaded with lot of heavy metals and several pollutants. Soil health is another challenge. We have done well when it comes to using genomics technologies for improving crop productivity. In rice, we have done a lot of structural genomics and also the functional genomics. But when it comes to pathogen genomics, pest genomics, or the soil microbe genomics, the genomics of wild relatives, we have not been up to the mark. And we will not be able to address those issues until or unless we decipher the genomic information of those pests and pathogen, and we try to understand the host pathogen interaction, identifying the target genes, and then probably we will be able to effectively target those pests and diseases. At ICAR, Indian Institute of Rice Research, we have been primarily working on improving rice crop for various traits. This is one thing that one successful example where the private and public institutes have come together. We have seen the success in case of rice genomics database. Lot of genome sequences have come in the and they are available in public domain that have helped lot of the small institutes, organizations to utilize that information in the breeding programs. And in rice, we are in a very comfortable position. We have got now more than 3,000 rice genome sequences available to us, which we are now using in our regular breeding programs. And so using that information, Indian Institute of Rice Research has already developed several varieties in rice, imparting bacterial blight resistance or low phosphorus tolerance, salinity tolerance. So those are the technologies which are going to sustain and making the agriculture not only sustainable, it is very important that rice is not going to sustain until we make it profitable to farmers. So it is no more, I was discussing today, it is no more just a livelihood source, but it has to transform the farmers and it has to be very remunerative in years to come. So what we need to do is to develop the technologies that can yield or that can produce as much as what we get now with lesser resources, lesser the fertilizers, to make those technologies more sustainable, lesser pesticides. So that's what we have been doing, imparting several genes from different sources. Also at Indian Institute of Rice Research, we have done a lot of work on improving the nutrition quality of rice. Of course, this has been one of the India's government program to improve the nutrition security. This is a platform, consortia research platform on biofortification, wherein we have nearly 35 centers across country working together to enrich the nutrients in different crop plants. You can see here rice, wheat, maize, and there are some more crops. And the traits have been like enhancing the vitamin A, zinc, protein, and iron. So many such traits we have been working. Okay. So yeah, so we have already dedicated nearly 17 biofortified crop varieties to the nation. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, I think last year or last year, he dedicated those 17 varieties of different crop plants, biofortified with different nutrients, and those are dedicated to country, already available in market. Biotechnology can also be one of the critical solution to address the challenges like which have not been addressed through traditional breeding programs. For example, rice seed blight, we have been trying to impart the resistance to develop the seed blight resistance, but we could not do because of there are no available genetic resources or the genes are not available. So we at Indian Institute of Rice Research, we are looking for alternative approaches. There are a lot of studies from our laboratory wherein we try to find out the pathogen genes. That is where I was telling that the pathogen genomics becomes very important if we are going to target such type of recalcitrant problems. These are some of the very important technologies which will help to make the agriculture more sustainable, specifically with respect to rice cultivation. DRR-H4 is one such hybrid released from Indian Institute of Rice Research that is suited for aerobic conditions. DRR-H5 is another salinity tolerant hybrid which has been released, and it is specifically it yields very well under coastal salinity conditions. We also have released some of the varieties like DRR-H64 or DRR-Dhan64 and DRR-Dhan66. These are the varieties, they require less amount of fertilizers, either nitrogenous fertilizers or phosphatic fertilizers, and they are able to produce as much as what we get with the recommended dose. So here we are able to save fertilizers. It's not just that evolving seeds or developing new varieties and technologies. We also need to look that from what we can do from the production aspect. So for like new production technologies like direct seeded rice, it can save labor up to 40%, water up to 60%, and of course the other very important critical benefits which are aligning with the Sustainable Development Goals of UN, and also of course it is going to benefit the farmers. We know the advantages of DSR, but still we have not been able to upscale it. The reason being is that we are trying to use those varieties or the seeds which are actually adapted for transplanted conditions. So what we need to do as a researcher, we need to really look back and redesign our strategies so that we develop seeds or varieties which are amenable for DSR conditions. For example, imparting the weed competitive trait, also early seedling vigor. I am sure many of you will be knowing all those things, but then certainly these are the important traits that we need to impart either through breeding technologies or through genome editing or transgenic, whatever the means may be. But if we need to reorient our whole program, we have to develop the variety with such traits. At our institute, we have been able to deliver the technology whatever we developed through various partners, state agriculture universities, International Rice Research Institute, National Rice Research Institute, and there are several other ICR institutes. So we all are working together for technology development, and after we develop the technology, we disseminate it through state agriculture universities, Krishi Vigyan Kendras. There are several NGOs and several other organizations like agri clinics. So it is not just the developing a technology, but then disseminating it. We have got very strong linkages, and we have been very successfully able to commercialize those technology with the help of private partners. We work with more than 30 private organizations. Of course, there are, it's a very largest network alone in, not only in India, I would say worldwide, working on rice crop. We have got 45 funded centers. There are 100 voluntary centers and 30 private organizations. Together, it's a very big organization. Every year we have annual rice group meeting where everyone comes and they discuss their issues and also giving very bright ideas to improve the whole program. Of course, as when it comes to delivery, we have also been doing on-field demonstration of technologies. We organize farmers fair every 6 months, sometimes more frequently. We go through Krishi Vigyan Kendras, off-campus training programs. And in India, we have got very well established seed supply chain. If you see, there are state agencies, central government agencies, or research institutes, they all have made a very good network to disseminate or to take those technologies to the stakeholders, farmers, millers. So that is how we have been working. Now, in the last segment of my presentation, I will talk about new plant breeding technique, that is genomating at Indian Institute of Rice Research. We have been practicing. This is one of the finest technology that everybody will admit. It's the most precise breeding tool because of it empowers you to make the changes in the most precise and specific way, and you can deliver the product as early as specifically when I talk in rice, 2 to 3 years or 4 years, you will be able to deliver the varieties or technologies. Most part of the world has taken pragmatic approach as far as the biosafety regulations of genome-edited crops are concerned, and India is not lagging behind. In fact, SDN1 and SDN2 type of genome-edited crops have been put on, out of the ambit of critical biosafety regulations. Only IBSC can review the applications, and then they can deregulate the genome-edited crops. We have been working on Samba Masuri. Samba Masuri is a very popular genotype of rice, and it has got very amenable eating and cooking quality, and it is also having a lot of export value. So we wanted to improve the Samba Masuri, but the challenge with the Samba Masuri, when you enhance yield, you often lose the original grain characteristics. So through breeding, we have previously tried. That is where we thought that genome editing being such a precise technology, will it be possible that we enhance the productivity without changing the grain characteristic? And in case of genome editing, it becomes very important that what gene you choose in the gene where you edit, and then what background you take. So that is what we did a lot of SWOT analysis, and we did a lot of modeling and narrowed down to a gene, cytokinin oxidase, and then understanding that in the cytokinin oxidase where we should be mutating. It's not that you can mutate anywhere, but then certainly there are critical junctions where you can do those modifications. And we could develop the Samba Masuri same grain type through genome editing, where we have in the limited trials, we have seen that it produces more than 35% yield. If you see the panicle of Samba Masuri, it has side panicle. You will able to record 150 to 200 grains per panicle, but the genome-edited lines will be able to give you 400 to 500 grains per panicle. You can see the difference in the panicle size. So certainly such kind of technologies are very important when we talk about the sustainable agriculture. Within the given resources, we need to produce more. We have also been able to educate the farmers, educate our stakeholders through newspapers and through different media platforms, and hopefully the technology will be available to the real stakeholders soon. Yeah, so we have not been able to actually utilize the biotechnology to its potential. Yeah. And what we need to, what we seek is the support from the government body, particularly when we are using the modern biotechnology tools, enabling policies. For example, in genome editing, we have got very good now support. Of course, those are specific ones like regional genotyping hubs, because most of these biotechnology applications, what we see, they are limited to only some of the laboratories. But when it comes to the breeders working in small laboratories, or so they are not able to implement many of these tools in their regular breeding programs. So how to empower them? Can we have such type of regional genotyping hubs, regulatory mechanisms? So such these are the tools, and yeah, we have a lot of things to share with private partners. We have genetic resources that we can come together on a platform and we can share. We can share the expertise, improving the lines, and we can have a specific traits that to improve on. Yeah, so this is my last slide, and this is where the public-private partnership, now it is more relevant in today's context. The challenges are bigger, we need to produce more, we have lesser resources, not only producing more, it's not only the quantity, but also imparting the quality. Of course, there have been a lot of good, favorable factors, but when we talk about the inhibiting factors, many of the time it fails because we don't have vision when we go for the partnership. So it is very important that both the parties have got very strong vision. Of course, official formalities are there. We need support from government and institutes. We need to focus in specific areas. The blanket partnership will not work probably. And there are other issues that I have mentioned that, of course, those that transparency, there will be research material exploitation. So all those things are there. I am hoping that we will be able to sort out and we will come together and we will serve the society, we will serve the farmers in days to come through our partnership. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Satyendra, for sharing the breakthrough research which is happening in your institute, as well as sharing the insight on the public-private partnership. So I request all the audience, please post your questions in the platform, and we will take addressing the speaker, and we will take up your questions during Q&A. So with this, we'll move to the next speaker. I'll hand off to Christiana. Over to you, to the Europe.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear colleagues. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker here in EMEA, Dr. Günter Strittmatter from CEPLAS, the Cluster of Excellence on Plant Sciences. Dr. Strittmatter is at CEPLAS in charge of technology transfer, cooperation management, R&D consulting, and business development. Before that, he had several leadership roles in industry and academia in Germany and abroad. His scientific background is genetics, on which he habilitated at Cologne University. And now I'm looking forward to Dr. Strittmatter's presentation, Public-Private Partnerships in Plant Sciences, Basis for Progress in the Development of Sustainable Agriculture. Günter, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Christian. Thank you for the invitation to this Bayer internal meeting, and thank you of course for the kind introduction. Well, dear Bayer community, I wish to address the topic of my presentation with the help of two examples and from two different points of view, from the academic point of view and from the corporate point of view. And the examples I'm presenting to you for the discussion of this topic are those which I have been personally engaged in the past, or in which I am still engaged. Okay. So, this here is how the Deutsche Forschungsgemeinschaft sees the interface, the interaction between the public science world and the world of application by companies. In the core is knowledge transfer, and the public science partners provide scientific findings, methods, technologies, and the application partners from the public sector, in their view, provide the impetus for new scientific questions. Well, this picture certainly is true. However, to my understanding, it's only part of the story. Now let's have a look to the corporate point of view first. I personally have experienced the following goals of cooperation with academia for companies. First of all, of course, the access to scientific and technological know-how and progress, access to funding opportunities. It's also a matter of public reputation, and it can even develop into a marketing tool, science-based, as a quality label. In principle, I see two different forms for such cooperations. That's very obvious. Either bilateral for topics of high relevance for business. The ways for potential exploitation of results in most cases are clearly defined and visible. And the other form, consortia, including more than two partners, of course, also potentially other companies, also competitors, when aiming at the entry into new scientific developments with a long-term perspective for commercial exploitation of results. I know in legal terms there are different classifications of such cooperation forms, but that's for me in my discussion here not relevant now. I want to illustrate the effect of such public-private partnerships in research with the help of an example. And this example is the former German plant genomics program called Gabi and its successor and associated programs at the national and international level. And this program was funded over 15 years by the German Ministry of Education and Research. Well, I agree, this is looking back to the past, but I try to convince you the lessons learned in this program, to my view, at least, are still holding true. There were 6 goals, strategic goals, set by the funding ministry upon intensive discussion with the potential partners and intensive planning with them. First of all, the strengthening of plant genomics in Germany. I don't wish to go through all this list now. I just want to emphasize, you can see here that also the transfer of research results into industrial application is among those topics, potentially paving the way to the use of plants in knowledge-based bioeconomy. Almost all public research institutions in Germany engaged in plant sciences have participated in this program. From the corporate side, from the private sector, mainly the mid-sized German plant breeding companies were participating. And as I mentioned already, this program had 2 branches, a national branch and an international branch, and each branch was split up into various funding phases, and the transition between the funding phases was always accompanied by an intensive evaluation of progress, success in the individual projects by an international peer review panel. In total, 153 projects were funded over the 15 years with a total volume of 290 million euro. And 66 of these 153 projects had the participation of companies. This is 43%, and this figure substantially increased at the later stages of the program when projects got closer to application. In total, 14% of the finances of this program came from the private sector. What were the rights gained by participation in this program for the companies? Well, industry partners directly participating in a research project obtained exclusive royalty-bearing rights to commercially use the results, and in projects without industry partners, which of course also existed, the companies participating in the overall structure of this program obtained a time-limited first right of reading and negotiation on commercial use of results. There were some specific legal regulations, the basis for doing that. Well, the major contributions from the private sector I see in the following. Of course, co-funding of projects, but also providing application-relevant plant material, breeding populations, providing field testing capacities, of course also contributing scientific expertise and own research work. Very importantly, however, the development of prototypes and practice checks for new processes. And last but not least, expertise, of course, in the application, relevance, and economic perspectives of research projects. The scientific output was substantial, to my view, in terms of number of publications, acquisition of additional grants, and also in the education of young scientists. But more important might be, here in this context, what was the output for the research transfer? Well, the list is long. It reaches from patent applications down to the foundation of startup companies. However, I wish to specifically emphasize the effect of this cooperation project funding program in the field of development and integration of state-of-the-art molecular marker technology in German breeding programs. And this I wish to substantiate with the result of a study that was done in the context of Gavi projects. Now this graph here shows the increase in the number of molecular data, marker data points generated and applied in breeding programs over a time period. And what you see here now first is the increase in the number of data points during the first years when applying the technologies that were existing at that moment, in those years. However, then a technological breakthrough occurred, and what the Gavi projects actually did is they tested such technological innovations, new approaches, and made it ready for application in practical breeding steps. That's what the Gavi projects did. Now, with this technological innovation, you see a dramatic increase in the number of molecular marker data applied in breeding programs. However, only 2 years later, another technological innovation occurred, which led to another exponential increase in the number of marker data points applied. And this is mainly based on the fact that these projects then made ready the marker-assisted breeding also for whole genome approaches to select quantitative traits. And this picture for me is also the reason why I dare to say these Gavi cooperation projects were the entry into the area of new and modern marker-assisted breeding for many, many commercial breeding programs in Germany. The success factors of this program I see, first of all, in a common understanding on the goals, focus on selected topics. It was not an all-inclusive program. Scientific creativity and visionary approaches, of course. Very importantly, a long-term view for the funding initiative. We had predominantly small consortia, not big consortia, and small consortia are, of course, allowing more intensive interaction and also interdisciplinary cooperations. The continuous evaluation of progress, success of projects was very important, and efficient controlling measures to apply them, and also the continuous adaptation to scientific progress and innovations. So this was the corporate point of view I want to present to you. Now I jump to the academic point of view, and also that I'll do with the help of an example, and this is now more from modern times. This is from present, not from the past. And this example is the Cluster of Excellence on Plant Sciences, CEPLAS. This is a consortium between the universities in Düsseldorf and Cologne and the Max Planck Institute, the Plant Breeding Research in Cologne, and Research Center Jülich. And this is funded by Deutsche Forschungsgemeinschaft in the framework of the German Excellence Strategy. It is the only excellence cluster in Germany in the field of plant sciences, and in the meantime, we are in the second funding phase with a total funding volume of about 42 million euro. The headline of CEPLAS 2 is, you can read it here, Smarter Plants for Tomorrow's Needs. Now, why that? Well, of course, also CEPLAS is driven by all the global challenges for agricultural and horticultural plant protection as they are defined in the Sustainable Development Goals, in the EU Farm to Fork Strategy, EU Green Deal. To my view, one can summarize all the tasks listed here in the sentence: we have to produce more, we have to produce better quality, and we have to produce all that with less harmful impact on nature and environment. The vision, our vision, is that knowledge on causal relationships of biological functions are an essential basis for more effective, more efficient predictive plant breeding and for the development of novel concepts for biological plant protection and nutrition. And we want to do that, of course, with excellent science, but also with innovative educational programs and with intensive dialogue with society on innovations. We have 4 research areas. Research Area 1 addresses the interface between developmental processes and metabolism in plant cells. Research Area 2 studies the interaction between plants and its fungal, its microbial environment. Research Area 3 tests and designs tools, modules for synthetic biology, and Research Area 4 finally covers theoretical plant biology and data sciences with a focus on the development of tools to model plant performance, to model biological functions, and have that as a tool for improved plant breeding, precision breeding. Scientifically, I dare to say the program has been pretty successful so far. On average, about 100 to 120 scientific papers are published every year, and many of them in high-ranking journals such as Nature, Science and Cell. Also the acquisition of additional grants on the basis of CEPLAS work is impressive, and last year 8 researchers have been awarded the title of high-cited researcher. We have also an innovative educational program with new elements, and one new element is a 4-year bachelor program in quantitative biology, which leads then directly into the PhD program without obtaining first a master degree. And the PhD program has been adapted to the American system with a 1-year qualification phase before entering into research for the thesis, which then usually lasts 4 to 5 years. Most importantly might be here in this context that in each element of the educational program, aspects of research transfer are integrated already in teaching. We also have an extended network of cooperations with public research institutions all over the world. And just lately we have started a new strategic partnership with the Institute for Plant Genetics and Culture Crop Research in Gatersleben by founding the Virtual Center for Translational Plant Biodiversity Research. Well, the program elements are shown on the slide. I'm not going into the details now. However, I wish to stress, underline here, this certainly should not be considered a closed shop. In contrast, we see it as a crystallization point for additional cooperations in the public, with public research institutes, but also with the private sector. Let's come finally to the field of research transfer. What are we doing there? Well, we at CEPLAS think that these elements listed here have to be sustainably established and always strengthened when aiming at an efficient, at an effective research transfer. This covers permanent training in all aspects of research transfer, regular scouting for application-relevant projects and results, mediation, coordination of IP protection, having an incentive program for scientists engaged in translational projects, however, also proactive presentation of opportunities for cooperation, mediation, coordination of corporations, exchange programs with the private sector, support in startup foundation, and a well-organized customer relations management system. This is a long list, and we at CEPLAS have worked on establishing all that over the last years. We are not where we want to be in all these aspects, but we have progressed pretty much over the last years. And you see that in core of this list of elements is also cooperations with the private sector. This is what is indicated in bold here. And overall goals for such cooperations with the private sector in our view are, of course, the integration of know-how, perspectives that are not present in CEPLAS, but also generating a return on investment, economic exploitation of results, and last but not least, opening career opportunities for scientists. We offer a whole portfolio of elements for such cooperations. They are listed here. Of course, it starts with joint research projects on fields of mutual interest, and then the list is long, going down to participation of company scientists in teaching programs. And in gray I have highlighted here those elements of our portfolio that we are currently discussing with the LifeHub here in Monheim. Of course, we also hope that sooner or later, line first, joint research activity projects can be highlighted in gray. We have very precise expectations, what we expect in such cooperations, complementation of scientific expertise and infrastructure for experimental proof of concept phases, development of prototypes, upscaling approaches, expertise in regulatory affairs, know-how on potential markets and customers, mentoring in the process of startup foundation, and, very importantly, integration of economic perspectives in teaching programs. We also see a benefit for the partners on the private side, complementation of scientific expertise in business relevant fields, early access to innovations in business relevant fields, and getting to know qualified scientists as potential future employees at a very early stage. And the practical areas where research results from CEPAS, to our view, can really be transferred into new products, into new processes are listed down here. Due to time limitations, I do not go through that in detail. What have we achieved over the last years? Well, we could establish 12 research cooperation projects with companies, and we are also in the planning process of 4 startup projects. And finally, my conclusion is, I see public partnerships are and will stay key factors in generating socio-economic impact from science. However, we have to, this needs more, success in that field needs more interdisciplinary interactions within academia, within the private sector, and between private and public sector. It also needs more effective and efficient support for startups as effective and efficient ways for research transfer, and we all should be aware, finally, that the implementation of innovations needs really an intensive dialogue with society on the meaning of such innovations for socio-economic process. And I hope at least part of that we can do together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Günther, for this great and insightful presentation. We will have the opportunity to discuss the questions later in the Q&A session. And now I would like to hand over to Renato in Sao Paulo.
Thank you, Christian. So hello here from Latam, São Paulo. Here in Brazil, we have the pleasure to receive Dr. Paula Packer. She's a researcher from Embrapa, the Brazil Agriculture Research Corporation, and she's also part of a bigger group in Embrapa, which is working very close to Bayer on the carbon project, so on the technical aspects of carbon sequestration, and she's currently head of Embrapa Environment here in Brazil. So please welcome to the stage, Paula.
Thank you, Renato. It's a pleasure to be here in this private meeting with Bayer and all over the world. I'm going to begin a little bit in another way from the previously talk. I'm going to talk about sustainability, but not in the adaptation field like with genomics. I'm going to talk about a little bit of mitigation and how we can calculate all these things together, specifically for the Brazilian tropical agriculture. We need more indicators, different indicators for us to go for a precise way to measure this carbon footprint and how we can deal with this in the future. Embrapa, I'm from Embrapa. Embrapa has 43 units all over Brazil. I'm from Embrapa Environment, and the corporation is celebrating this year his 50th anniversary. And we are looking for the future and trying to track a new roadmap, looking for sustainability, and this goes for the agrobiotech. I like these three words. And looking for different pillars: sustainability, a green economy, the digital, and how we can join all this thing together for really improve the sustainability of the agriculture and looking for adaptation of climate change, looking for mitigation, looking for all the value chain of the production. So we are trying to build these things here in Brazil, and this partnerships, this private and partnerships is very important. And we come with the innovation, and not only the innovation for agtechs, ecosystems, technology ecosystems. I think the innovation comes with the tech and also comes from the bio. It comes from the genomics, it comes from different products and disruptive products. I think this is our way to go now. I'm going to talk a little bit of two cases that we have partnership with Bayer, and it's totally different. One for a development of a product with a project, a research project, and another one with building another way of thinking about innovation and trying to work with this new way to put the products in the market with the startups. So it's two cases, and let's talk a little bit about our partnership. It's a long partnership. I was tracking down. I didn't make a timeline, but I was tracking, and it began more in '95. So it's a long partnership. And here I'm going to talk a little bit about these two cases. So the ProCarbon is a project that involves 4 Embrapa units and other partners, and it is divided in 4 big work packages, and looking for different things, looking for how we can improve the quantification of carbon, for Brazil and how we can do it fast, because sampling soil is not an easy way to go. If you need to sample all the soil along the I don't remember the name, but along in deep, and how to improve this way to go. Another one is innovative methods, how we can do it faster, sustainable analytical way to measure this carbon without using a lot of chemistry, without using a lot of products. So this is another work package. The other one is it's used to model how all these things we are doing with the quantification and the innovation methods, how we can map this carbon in the soil in Brazil. And it needs a little bit of software modeling and looking for this organic soil carbon dynamics in Brazil. And we have the last one, and not the least one, but the life cycle assessment, the calculator to measure the carbon footprint in different farms and in different scales. And they are building up a new technology, a new way to measure this. And we have communication, the market, how to build up guidelines. So this is a huge program, a research program that we are doing together. This is our team. It's a multidisciplinary team with Embrapa and with Bayer. And in this Embrapa teams, we have like 4 units from Brazil, Embrapa Environment, Embrapa Instrumentation, Digital Agriculture, and there are 3, sorry. So it's a multidisciplinary team that is looking how we can really assert the indicators and the calculation calculator. So the carbon sampling field protocol, it was built for us to really trying to improve how to collect the sample and how to collect it easier with low demand of doing rows and doing a lot of things that is natural in this analysis. And this is a little bit of the timeline of the project. It begins with the first wave when they are trying to build off a concept how to work with the life cycle analysis, thinking about the scope, thinking about the region in Brazil that they wanted to work, and this was built up together. That is, then they in the second wave, we are working already with the signature of this calculator, with the first version of this calculator, to look for what kind of cultures we are working with the regions, what's the goal, and what is the scope. And then the thing in this calculator, it needs to be certified. So there is a bureau that certificates this calculator, and also it's the first, and there is a third stage with the review of the process. And then there is 3 more versions that I'm gonna talk to you a little bit later. So this carbon footprint calculator, it tried to, if you think it's based on the life cycle assessment, on the life cycle analysis, and if you think about the full cycle, it goes from the nature to the consumer. And in this case, if you're thinking about soil, the consumer is a pig. But we are not working in the whole full cycle. So we decided to see the scope of the project from the cradler to the gate, and also track the transport process of all this thing. Why? Because we need to have specifically data, primary data, to have more precise data, what we are talking about, what we are talking, what we are thinking, what we are calculating. So this primary data is from the field process, so the footprint, and also in the transportation report. So this is primary data that we are working on. So this carbon footprint process is based, like I told, in the life cycle assessment, but only for the climate change category, not for all of the life cycle assessment category. So it's based specifically for the climate change category. What's the goals and the scope from this project? So we need to look what are the carbon footprint and try to measure the impact from the greenhouse gases from the catalog to from a part of the process. So estimate this carbon footprint from some kind of agriculture products. We are working with soy in this beginning with the first and the second wave, but we are extending it to sugarcane, corn, and I think it's sugarcane and corn. We're gonna see a little later. But the special cover of this project is we can decide if you go to one plot, if you go to the farm, if you go to the municipality. So it could cover different spectrums from the way how we need to calculate this carbon footprint. Oh, sorry. So as I told, the primary data will look for the soy correctives, the soy carbon, the fertilizer, the fuel usage to produce for the production, also the fuel, the transport. So this primary data, we are trying to refine this data, not to have a background data or have like a tier 1 data. We are trying to refine that, then we can have more precise data in this carbon footprint process. So for this calculation, we are using two tools. The RenovaCalc is a new official tool that was built up at Embrapa Environment to calculate the carbon footprint based on life cycle analysis. And also the BR-Look. BR-Look is a land use change program that calculates the CO2 emission from different kind of scopes. It could be the country scope, the biome scope, municipality scope, and also from the farm scope. So it is using these two methodologies, these two techniques to build up a new thing. And why we are working in this two kind of technology? We are working in this two kind of technology to have more precise data. You can see if we use the EcoInvent data, the soy being average footprint for Brazil, it's going to be 2,060 kilos of CO2 per ton of soil. If we use the data, so the target of the ProCarbon, it begins with in the first version for soybean to track what's going on, to see how we can refine this calculator. In the second version, it comes with other inputs, with organic fertilizer, energy, different kind of energy, drying process, emission segregation, and also trying to measure the uncertainty of the production chain of soybean. In the third version of the carbon, the calculator, we are going to work with soybean, corn, and try to map already what's going to be for the sugarcane. So with all this input, different inputs, looking for a lower input of chemicals, try to work with organic fertilizer, trying to bioproducts, biofuels. Brazil has a very different kind of biofuels that can diminish the emissions from the process of transport. And also in the fourth version, we are going to work a little bit with all the kinds of production chain, and also the cropping system and allocation for all of them. So we can see the target of the building up of this calculator is to refine the measurement, how we can track a precise tool to measure all this carbon footprint. And we are also trying to in this refinement, in some way, we are going to look a little bit inside the farm also. So it's a research development together that is building up a new concept here in Brazil, a new calculator, and trying to tropicalize all these indicators for us to have a really Brazilian calculator for carbon footprint, and how we can use it for the market. So we are this joint with Bayer, we have like a very intense repercussion in the Brazilian media, and so we are trying to look to build up also this market and this communication. So I have only 2 minutes to go, and I'm going to talk a little bit. I know that here is a more science-based meeting, and they were looking for the calculator, but I'm going to try to talk a little bit about another case. This is more, I'm more involved in this project than in the other one. This is because I was a little bit shy to talk So what is Agnes? Agnes is a different kind of building up innovation hub. An innovation hub to work with startups. Startups, I think, like Günther told in the previous talk, we need to use them as a scientist to put also the technology on the market. And how to do this in the different way. This is what we are building up at Agnes. Agnes is the nest for AgTech. So it's not only a hub, it's a living farm, it's located in a farm, it's based on field experiments, and look for these two things, digital agriculture and sustainability. Agnes was built up in the public partnership with 5 different companies. Banco do Brasil, it's a Brazilian bank, Bayer, Embrapa, Jacto, and Nutrim. So we are building up a different concept from the beginning, and it's looking for open innovation and entrepreneuring, combine it with science. The science is a basis for the sustainable agriculture of the future. And where is it? It's nearby. It's a privileged location nearby São Paulo city. It's in Campinas city, nearby Campinas city. It's inside the innovation ecosystems. The Brazilian corridor of innovation, it's in São Paulo. It has a lot of cities together. We have diversity of agricultural use and a complex infrastructure with the co-working, space maker, also to try to do this connection with the innovation, with the startups. So it comes with the collaboration principle, and like I said, it's much more than only a hub or a co-working place. So my time is over, and I would like to thank you, Renato, for the invitation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Paula. And with that, I hand over to St. Louis.
Thanks, Renato. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Let's continue hearing about the same theme, external partnership, but this time from a North American perspective. I'm Chandra Aradhya. I'm a Bayer Science Fellow, and it's really indeed my honor and privilege to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Kimberly Kidwell. Dr. Kidwell is currently Associate Chancellor at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, famously known as UIUC, focused on strategic partnerships and initiatives. To be honest, I've given too few minutes. Introducing Dr. Kidwell in few minutes I've got doesn't do the justice to the depth and breadth of her contribution to agriculture research. But let me try my best. Dr. Kidwell is a nationally recognized scholar and an award-winning teacher. And her passion is in developing food production systems that are sustainable. And that's through collaboration. So in her current role, basically she leads building collaborations with private sectors, other academic institutions, and state and government agencies. And prior to that, she basically was the Dean of College of Agriculture at UIUC, and as well as prior to that, she was the Associate Dean at the Washington State University. And she received her master's and PhD in plant breeding and genetics from University of Wisconsin-Madison. And she's an accomplished spring wheat breeder and has developed an outstanding record of developing more than 20 wheat varieties that farmers at Washington State are benefiting today. And she has several patents in her name. So with that, I'll invite Dr. Kidwell to take the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here, and I really am so grateful for the opportunity to look behind the curtain a little bit. I've had a really amazing career, and my biggest claim to fame, honestly, is that Tom Osborne was my advisor at Wisconsin. I know you know him, and so it might not become much of a surprise to folks. When I was a graduate student, Tom had a very industry-focused bent. We wanted to do things that mattered, and so my whole career has been about kind of trying to build this bridge between what we do with academia and industry. And I've loved being a wheat breeder. It was the love of my life. I went into academia because I got very concerned about what was going to happen to the future of agriculture because the talent pool was so small. And I had one of those, if not me, then who moments, which might have ruined my career. I'm not sure, right? Because I transitioned from doing something fabulous with plant breeding to becoming an administrator, which is a whole different gig. But what I want to talk about today is the opportunities and challenges related with industry academic partnerships. And I have to say, all of them are solvable. Being the last speaker of an event is fabulous. Everybody has already said what you're going to talk about, so you can edit as you go. But I'm gonna expand on some things that actually have been talked about by the external folks that we just heard, and by you in some of the sessions that I had the privilege to listen to over the last couple days. So, how many people in the room have some affiliation with the University of Illinois? Quite a few of you, right? So I was an undergrad there. So these land-grant institutions are pretty fabulous. And I know you have a diverse array of people that come from those. And there's two things we're all going to tell you. Our faculty are fabulous and our students are second to none, right? And it's really true. There's some unbelievable talent in these universities. What makes UIUC a little bit different than other land grants is we have an amazing setup where our research laboratories on campus, and this is a picture of campus at the lower part of the slide, that's kind of the ag end of campus. It is contingent to 3,000 acres that we own, that we call South Farms, where we do a lot of our testbed research out there. But what's most interesting is our research park is adjacent as well. So within about a 2 or 3 mile radius, you can be in a lab on campus, you can be in our research park, and you can be in the field testing some of that technology. So we have startup companies from faculty that incubate at that research park. We also have 125 companies, Bayer is one of those, that work there. So it's a really interesting opportunity for us to put students in the context of the classroom, take that content piece that they learn there, and then apply it with engagement with industry in a context that's real. Making it real, making it relevant. That bridge is really important, I think, since I've been at UIUC for the last 5 years or so. Making that connection, making that a value-added aspect of what we do has become extraordinarily important to us. But that incubator space, the test bed space, the discovery space, all being in the same proximity is really spectacular. So I'm completely clear that you guys get what Team Science does, right? I've heard you talk about it. It's extraordinary to hear how it works here. UIUC is very good at this as well. And I've been at 3 land grants. I've never been at one that does it quite like this. And part of it is because we have an institute structure that's designed to bring people together, that's funded by the university, that's supported by the university, that's interdisciplinary in nature. The Institute for Genomic Biology is one that somebody here mentioned to me today. They just visited. So we have those around health, we have them around sustainability, we have them around social justice, we have them around genomics, we have them around all kinds of interesting things where they're interdisciplinary by nature, and we have a mechanism to draw people together. That's the mindset that a lot of people get attracted to us for, because they know they're going to get to work together, and it's very, very exciting. So I like to say that interdisciplinarity is UIUC's superpower. In fact, people that have been there their whole career don't know it's not like that other places, right? And so they'll visit or they'll go someplace else and they're like, wow, you know, they talk about it, but it doesn't really happen. It truly is how we live. And in the pandemic, this really came to play. 50 land grants in this country. One developed the saliva test that's been used all over the world, and it allowed us to keep people on campus. What was amazing about how quickly that happened was the university leadership said, we're going to support this and we're going to fund it, and they activated a team of people who already knew each other. They already were familiar with each other to develop that test. I tell students all the time that the people that can go into a job interview and say, I worked on the COVID-19 Shield project at University of Illinois and developed a test, a rapid test for COVID detection with saliva. That's a good soundbite. That's a good soundbite in a job interview. So there are obstacles, all of which we can overcome. We've worked with industry a lot over time at UIUC, and frankly, we can do better. So these are the 3 things we hear about a lot. Faculty don't have a clue what's happening in industry. And as I looked a little bit behind the curtain the last couple of days, I'm like, oh man, how far behind are we really? You know, I think about that a lot because we're training the talent, and I'm not sure we have access to some of the latest, greatest things. So, and we, you know, some of us don't really understand how industry works because we've never really been in it. And we have our students that love to say things to me, and I have a pretty good relationship with students. They'll say things like, Dr. Kidwell, you've never had a real job. That hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings, right? But I did it by building partnerships with people in industry and trying to bring what I can from my perspective. What I'll say, and this is an ask, we need you to engage with us in a way that we make it real. We need students to see you. We need students to learn from you. We need to be open to creating an ecosystem that we're actually co-cultivating our future. That's not about profit per se. That's about passion. And here's one thing I'll tell you. I don't know if people had seen what I saw when I watched presentations on Tuesday. I don't know if people would have guessed the passion and the commitment that you expressed in all the talks that you gave. You know, people look at industry very differently. Profit driven, that's all you care about, right? I didn't hear any person say, and I'm in it to make money. What I heard y'all say was, I love what I do and I'm making a difference. And we feel like we can change the world from here. You need to get out and tell people that story so they get excited about you. And the evil cape of industry is thrown off. Like you take off the mask, you're like, wow, that's a human being that loves science, that wants to make a difference. People need to know you. And you need to tell that story so they get excited about it. So that's a challenge to you, okay? We're publication driven because that's how we acknowledge people. And here's the funny part about that to me. So impact for us is a lot of publications. And here's where we get excited if somebody else cites our work, right? So we have a big stack of stuff that gets taller. What I want to know is how much of that translates to something that matters. Fault Tom Osborne for that, because that's how he taught me how to think, right? Are we going to do science that makes a difference, and how do we make that work? As an administrator, I get grief from that from some people that really can't explain what that big stack of pubs really does. The people that are doing great things are excited about it. They're like, wow, that's pretty fun. But that, we're measured differently in how we are acknowledged in our industries. The other problem that we have is our curriculum just simply isn't relevant. Some of it's outdated, and that's where we really need you to show up and help. And we also hear that our students often lack technical skills or the soft skills required to be successful in industry. We don't teach those things in some ways because there's no demand for it, right? We don't know till after people graduate it's a problem. And grad students, I've never seen a grad student say, I've got so much time, I think I'll take some extra courses in communication. You know, they're like not motivated to do it. They're like, man, I got to publish, I got to do this. Industry needs to help us message to people what they need to be successful, what people need to be successful, so it validates what we're doing and what we're offering. They're like, wow, I cannot afford not to take time to invest in developing these skills. So these are my favorite ones, confidentiality. I swear I think about this all the time. What if we could just tell each other everything we knew? How would the world change? You know, how fast would we cure cancer if we could really tell each other? The competitiveness is there for a reason. It's also an obstacle. I'm not sure how we get around this, but it's something to think about. Like, what can we share that helps us move the needle together? What I've heard many people say here today is that this whole sense of what we do in academia being foundational to where you go next is really important. You know, how do we actually support you with scaling? Because scaling is not something we necessarily do well. Although the startup culture in an academic situation is really getting a lot better, it's not necessarily what we do. Here's where it gets hard. When you grab my technology and you use it, you don't always tell me, so I don't know, right? Because it's commercialized in a way that it becomes very, very private. It's part of a mechanism that I no longer have access to. And that can be really difficult and really challenging. I talked a little bit about different measures of success. In a company, you know, products, services, create profitability, that equals success. You can do major, amazing science, and this probably happened to people in the room, where, you know, you're going down, you're excited about it, it's pretty great, and all of a sudden the company takes a different turn. And you're like, what about my fabulous thing that's gonna save the world? Well, not today it's not, because we're doing this. You know, we're going this way, right? That's a challenge. You're measured, the gap in how we're measured success-wise is a challenge. You know, and I've worked with Monsanto on a couple projects. I was involved in a hybrid wheat project with Hybridtech. I also worked on Roundup Ready wheat. 2 heartbreaks. We were almost ready to release the Roundup Ready wheat variety and the plug got pulled. If I hadn't had tenure, I might have been concerned, right? Because I spent a lot of time on the project. The Hybridtech project, we actually had a base of work that we published. I love that my students were involved in those projects. It was fabulous in really allowing them to do work that was relevant, and it was also risky, right? It was risky. So those are challenges we face. The nimbleness is an issue, and this kind of relates to that. We are not known for being nimble in academia. Like an iceberg, you know, you can move us, but it's hard. You know, it takes a long time. I would say that the pandemic gave us an opportunity to truth test that, though. And I tell you, in the moment, we were nimble like nothing else, and we're trying to figure out how that allows us to do other things, not in a crisis, you know, that really are relevant to us being more flexible and our ability to flex and fold as things change. Industry tends to be very nimble, you know, and that's good and bad. You know, when you're in a partnership with somebody in industry and things change, or suddenly they're not even there. Like, how does that happen? They have simply gone away. You send the email and nobody's at the other end, right? That change can be really, really difficult and challenging. Funding perceptions are fun as well. We're broke and you have all the money. Is that true or perceived, right? That's the perception we have. But, if we can fund it, we can do it. State support at land grants really has declined all across the country. And so it's actually harder to fund things. All our money is tied up in people. So if we don't have operational support to do the work, it's really hard to do that. And infrastructure is a nightmare for us to manage, to be honest, because we really can't afford to upkeep it, which is very problematic. And we assume that you're rich, and so we ask you for money all the time. Right? And I guarantee you there will be an ask for me at the end of this talk. So this access to leading edge technology is a really interesting issue as well. And I saw a really great example, and I'm going to apologize for picking what is probably not a great picture of your technology, but I wanted us to win. So I picked one that I thought our picture was great and yours was not as good, right? So we're working on swarm technology, just like you are. We have a professor in agricultural and biological engineering, Girish Chaudhry, that does a lot of robotics. We've had a couple huge federal grants to the tune of about $50 million total to build a farm of the future in South Farms on campus. We have students that are running around with these crazy robots doing all kinds of stuff. And if you ever want to get a kid excited about plants, send a robot in there and send it in after it, right? Send the youngster after it. It's pretty exciting. Well, you're doing that type of work too. I will say that yours isn't as pretty, but I can tell it does more stuff, right? It sounds pretty, but it does more stuff, and I'm intrigued by that, So I wonder things about, okay, like we are a powerhouse in getting grant funding. I've never seen anything like U of I in this space. We really do a phenomenal job. But how far behind are we really? I'm not sure. And what can we do that provides the foundation for you to expand upon? I don't think we have enough explicit conversations about that, like how we do that with intention. Like how do we support you intentionally instead of by happenstance? Because there's some cases that we look like competitors, right? Based on what I've seen in the last couple of days, I think it's going to be hard for us to win. It's going to be a little hard for us to win, considering how advanced you are at much of what you do. So it's exciting. All of this stuff we can actually manage, but those conscious, explicit conversations about it, I think, are really important for us to have. And it's exciting to think about, but I do wonder, if we could share information more easily, where we would really go. So, bridging this gap between academia and industry, there's actually a little bit of literature on this, some of which was quite comical if you really work in either one of our agencies. But there's a couple topics that have come up a lot over the last couple days. Science communication is one of them, and the other one is talent development. So I want to lean into those a little bit. I think the next slides I don't need because people have used those, so I'll use them for context, but we might not spend a lot of time on them. Here's my argument. We are all science communicators. We are messengers. Whether you like it or not, it is the truth. There is hardly a thing I can think of that's related to agriculture that isn't controversial. I just can't think of anything, right? Because of what we do. And it started way back when we were going from horses to tractors. That was controversial. You look at that and you laugh, I'm like, wow, and not everybody could afford a tractor. So access was an issue as well too. Fast forward, decades later, similar challenges with different issues. Like when we get to the point now where we're arguing about the value and difference between sustainable production and regenerative ag, I'm like, okay, we've got a step too far in my world. This is a bridge too far. We're arguing about things that really are similar in lots of ways, but there's camps and we get polarized. And then we try to talk to the public about it. And, the public is really interesting. They don't always trust us. Did you know that? Trust is a little bit of an issue, right? But how we message to people really influences adoption. And, your communication group can't do it alone. We, each one of us, have a network of people we talk to, and how we message our science is really important. So here's a big challenge. I can't even tell you how many people I know. I got in this business because I didn't want to deal with people. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want people to bother me. I want to sit in my office. I like data. If you want to know what happens, come in, I will give you a graph, the answer is there, believe it, and leave me alone. You're laughing, I know some of you are those people. I know that's true, right? But here's the thing, The irresponsibility of putting the burden of being the science communicator on everybody else is kind of problematic. And there are introverts that don't really understand science either, right? It's true. It's really true. We can provide scientific facts to people. And I love it, you know, people are like, here's the data that proves it. Well, here's more data that proves it. Well, here's more data that proves it. And they're like, I don't trust you and I don't trust the data, right? The trust piece is a big deal. Being right with people that have a different perspective than yours never creates change. That empathy, sitting in somebody else's shoes is really important. And what makes sense to me, like I still can't even believe that we're talking about transgenics. I'm a geneticist. Like I don't get it. But I tell you who I argue with about this the most is my significant other, right? I'm like, wow, we just have different perspectives of this, about what safety is, you know? And making each other wrong has created so much public outrage and concern. And so when the science comes to bear, people don't trust it. And it's true for us in academia now too, right? Not everybody believes what we say too. And here's the deal, I work with you, I'm as bad as you are now, you know? When something like a name change from one company name to another company name lessens the heat of how people perceive you, you know the messaging is important. And you've lived through that. You know that game. So we need to use more accessible ways of communicating. Social media is a big deal. We need to quit talking to just each other, because we can get each other on board pretty quickly. It's people that don't believe what we believe that are more challenging. And we need to repackage this information in a way that it's accessible. You guys have said things the last couple of days I don't even understand, and I have a PhD. I'm like, wow, I don't know what they're talking about, but it sounds good, right? Making the story accessible to people is important. Meeting them where they're at is really important. And in this job I have right now, I actually do this a lot. I'm like the public whisperer for our really smart scientists, right? They give me a lot of words and a lot of text. I reframe and say this. And they're like, wow, that's great, you know? But I worked for Tom Osborne and practicality was an issue. So I learned this straight early, that you have to use accessible language so people can understand what you're talking about. So this is what we're going to try to do to improve science communication, train at the undergrad and graduate level. So this is an aspiration that we're actually developing a fundraising campaign around, building a Center for Scientific Communication on campus. The Masters of Science and Journalism was just approved, actually, so we have one piece on the ground, and it's based on science and technology. But our dream and goal would be that any person that goes to U of I in media, in science, anybody that wants to do it, could get a credential in science communication, where we actually teach the skills that it takes to be effective around science communication, because science literacy is a big deal. If that gets better, the ability of our technology to get out there and make a difference gets a lot better too. This is how you can help. Nobody has better case studies than Bayer around when this works and when it doesn't. Those are the things that we need to talk to students about, the real things that matter, you know, so they get a feel for what's important. Helping us develop courses is important. Technology integration of how we actually message is important, and you have really great communication people here that do really great work. And, you know, providing internships around this in the company for people in communications and media would be really important. And helping us fund this would be fabulous as well. That was a soft ask, I'm just saying. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is talent development. This is dear to my heart because this is how I got into administration. I will tell you that role modeling, mentoring, representation really matter. You know, there's something about 19,000 jobs. I just heard the statistic, 19,000 jobs around ag and food kind of in this region. 2% of that population is African American. You know, you can see that when you look around the room. People need to see themselves in these opportunities. And you as the messenger, in your circle of influence, no matter who it is, need to tell people what you do and why you love it. Be it your kids, be it your neighbors, be it anybody. You got to talk about this stuff, not just at work, so people that you're out and about get curious about what you do and ask about it. For me, this has been the big deal, overcoming perception. So when we recruit now, we actually don't focus as much on rural areas. We're trying to draw people from urban sectors into agriculture. But I got to tell you, the perception is hard to overcome. And what I hear all the time is, I don't want to be a farmer. Do we have any farmers in the room? Not too many farmers in the room. We're scientists that actually contribute to production. People don't know how sexy it is, right? When the robots fly by, when the drones fly by, they don't think that's agriculture. And that's agriculture, and it is our job to be the messenger to break the perception. The cows and plows thing is real. Kids will tell you that if you talk to them in recruitment pathways. Breaking the perception is really important, and highlighting and featuring what we do that's sexy is a big deal. So we created a Center for Digital Agriculture with our College of Engineering, and I'm going to use this as an example of new majors that we've created that are important. So we're developing talent, we're developing coursework, there's industry partners here. Our College of Engineering is nothing short of spectacular, but there's a couple majors that came out of here that are unique. Crop science plus computer science plus animal science. Half and half, so people have some data expertise and some content expertise to step into agriculture. I think things like this are game changers, and we need to do more of this so that our curriculum is current and we market these things in a way that's really powerful so people get excited about being in ag. You are on campus with us, so you have space in our Innovation Center. The B4U program is active there. Beautiful, awesome, amazing stuff. Getting more people from the College of ACES involved would be important, but my argument today is we need to start younger. So I'm going to end with an example, and you know, I love this timer, but I'm going to completely ignore it. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. I'm going to ignore that timer. I want to talk about this project because this is where my ask lies. There's a project I've been involved with in East St. Louis, and you know, East St. Louis is a scary place in lots of ways. Poverty is really high, the crime rate is high. It's kind of known as the lost city around here, and it is right across the river from you. Interesting thing, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, please tell me some of you know who Jackie is. Oh, that helps me, right? Sometimes I go, crowds, they don't know Jackie. She was an Olympian. She was a heptathlete and a long jumper. She won 6 medals. She's from East St. Louis. Jackie's story is interesting in that she was a good athlete. She had asthma and food allergies. When Jackie learned how to eat right, she went from good to world class, right? So food has always been part of her story, and a lot of people don't know that. She very fortunately got connected with a couple of alums from the College of ACES, and they decided that they wanted to use agriculture and food as an opportunity to address food access in East St. Louis, use it as a youth development tool for young people, and try to get some a grip on economic disparity in the community. So I knew these guys. I met them when I was dean. They brought me down here, and I said, you know, Extension does a little work programming around food and food production and growth and things like that. I think we can work together. Fast forward 5 years from when that became, the thing that you see in the background of the slide is a master plan for a 65-acre blueprint of things that we're actually building on site in East St. Louis across the river from you at the site of Jackie's Center, which has been around since 1988. So on this site, we're going to have food production facilities. In fact, they're building a sun house today on site there. There's some greenhouse facilities already. Indoor, outdoor food production facilities, a commercial kitchen, education spaces, a food distribution center, and a training facility so people from around the country can actually come and learn how to combine assets in a local area to make a difference. So this goes from 30,000 feet to on the ground of what we're trying to do in partnership, oddly, with 3 nonprofits. So it's University of Illinois, it's the Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, Lansing Up, which is a local community development entity in East St. Louis, and the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Foundation. It's the weirdest thing we've ever done. And what people on campus say, are we moving that to Champaign? No. We don't want to own this. Actually, all the infrastructure is owned by the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Center. What we provide is expertise in programming. We don't actually need to own this facility, but we fundraise together. You can donate to any entity to actually help with this. And just to show that we have momentum, we have a $20 million pool of resources, half from an individual donor and half from the state of Illinois to help build out the infrastructure. It's very, very exciting. And people from Bear actually have been on site there helping us figure it out. So this is my ask for you. This is what the original model looked like. Exposing young people to food and agriculture, providing mentorship and support and engagement, getting them involved in internships with industry, providing pathways to education, either through, certificate training after high school, 2-year degree opportunities, 4-year degree opportunities, but career development along the whole way. What we need to do is make this model circular. Our goal is not to extract the young people from East St. Louis and help them get out. Our goal is to help them become part of this ecosystem where the employers in the area are involved in their training. Guess who's a potential employer? Right? Can you work with us in a constructive way to connect the dots for these kids so they get excited about food and ag and science and they see themselves in these chairs? They imagine themselves coming to work here and they come back to an area very close to the community they came from, and they help us restructure and resurface East St. Louis in a way that's remarkable instead of devastated. And what I love about this so much is what they have that you don't have in St. Louis is land. There's land there. So we're thinking about it as a very interesting indoor food production arena, and thinking about entrepreneurialism and food access and food production. But you can be a part of this. There are folks that we've worked with you already that are excited about it, but we're gaining momentum, and we invite you to be part of this team because we want to create these circular opportunities where people see from beginning to end how they can become part of our ag and food ecosystem. So with that, I apologize I'm not really sorry, but I'm apologizing for being a little long, and hopefully we can transition to the Q&A now. Do we have the sound from?
The question has two components. First is the resistance of public with respect to gene editing. So I would say we have learned a lot from GM in India, and little success and more failures that had given us clues. And when we started with gene editing, of course, we were more, cautious how we are going to communicate, not getting gaga over the technology and projecting it as a panacea for, So it has been, we have been talking about gene editing as one of the alternate breeding tool, or more precisely calling it as a precise breeding tool. That is how we communicated with the public and other stakeholders. And as far as its future is concerned, still now we have seen the government of India has been very positive, other policymakers have been very positive about the technology. Already the rules and guidelines have been framed and they are in now public domain, suggesting that at least SDN1 and SDN2 kinds of genome editing will be allowed with the minimum biosafety regulations. And I am pretty sure the kind of power these technologies have, and when we demonstrate in the farmers field or to the stakeholders, I am confident that we shall be able to deliver. The second part of this question is about IP related to genome editing. This is a bit complicated, I understand, because of the whole IP landscape of CRISPR-Cas and the genome editing, overall has been complicated. But we are sure, for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of the poor farmers, we shall find the solutions. Already, Government of India, ICAR, and other government bodies, they have been negotiating with inventors, with the partners who have got already license of the technology. So soon we shall see that it reaches to the farmers. We will be able to address those challenges as well. Yeah. So most important here, the bottom line is to demonstrate the power of technology. You convince your stakeholders and convince the public that it is going to address all those long-standing issues. And once they are convinced, then we see that a lot of positivity around. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you. I wish you luck with that. The next question I'd like to address to Dr. Strittmatter. Are there successful examples of private companies providing know-how or work in partnerships without providing financial contributions? Sorry about that, Ken.
I must admit I do not quite understand the question. So, could you repeat it? Private companies providing what?
So with partnerships, can private companies be providing things like know-how or actual work together with public institutions? Is it always about the funding, or can we find other ways to cooperate to move agriculture forward?
Yes, of course, that's of course possible. Maybe I should explain a little bit what the contributions, for example, in the Gavi program were. These were, of course, not just sending out checks of money and so on. Most of it were in-kind contributions, by the way, and it goes also beyond that. And in all these partnerships, which I got to know, there were always different ways. It's not only a contribution, and the important thing is not only the contribution of money. It's in most cases it's just the bringing in of additional views, perspectives, experiences, and complementing know-how. No, of course, it's not only based on financial contributions. That might be the answer, the quick answer to the question.
Okay, thank you for your perspective. Appreciate that. I'd like to direct the next question to Dr. Packer. Does Embrapa see broad grower interest in selling carbon credits through other vendors, for example, through Bayer or another type of private company?
Can you repeat a little? Can you repeat, please?
The question is whether there would be acceptance of selling carbon credits through a company like Bayer or other types of private companies.
I think the carbon market in Brazil is in construction. So I don't know exactly if Bayer could, it could be a way to go, but not today. We need to build up also indicators. We need to try to look how this carbon credit could be sold. Not now, but I think in the future, yes. If you has all this way to measure, all this way to build up new indicators, and now the ways to certify this carbon in the field, yes, I think in the future it could be a way to go, but not now.
Okay, thank you. So, Dr. Kidwell, we got a comment that said that some of the best speakers this person has known have been extension people. And is there a thought to try to use some of those faculty specifically to help in the communication training in terms of the students we're bringing out?
You know, that's such a good point. I would agree, and I'm a big advocate and fan of extension. And I have to say, when I became dean, extension in Illinois had almost been gutted. It had gone through a reorg, and really a lot of the resources had been pulled out. What we saw is a lot of that had flipped to the private sector. Extension really was underfunded and under-resourced. I spent a lot of time working with people to rebuild that, even the state of Illinois, to get some more resources in there. And validating what extension does so people are more aware of it is important, but that is absolutely the plan. And in fact, at the JJK site, extension and 4-H are really active there, and they're co-housed on site there. So they're even involved in developing some of the training programs that we're using. But on campus, we're definitely going to engage our extension folks and actually co-train faculty with extension people as well. So that's part of the plan.
Great, thank you. Okay, we're going to cycle through so that we have addressed the different topics. Another question that came in for our speaker, Dr. Satendra, was about water scarcity, and if there is research being directed towards development of forgotten foods or kinds of crops that don't require as much water? Is there some research you're aware of around that topic?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. So, in India, of course, we have dedicated institutes working on promotion of millet crops that require less water. We have got dedicated research team. They are working on developing new technologies and varieties on those crops. Of course, we cannot replace wheat and rice as of now because they are, primary calorie provider. More than 80% or 90% of the calories we get from wheat and rice. And we also need to see, the long-term, feeding of millets, how it is going to affect, the other aspects of health. But yes, we are doing a lot of research. We are developing technologies on, developing varieties of millets, sorghum, several other such crops that require less water. And in rice also, we are trying to develop seeds which can grow well with less water and can yield more. So yeah, those type of things we are doing. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. I think there was a number of people that asked questions that were for any of the speakers that we have that have to do with one of the topics that you brought up. That was, how do we attract and retain students for scientific careers? And so if there are, I know you spoke to that directly, but if there are other kinds of input on that, on how we continue to try to get people to be interested in science and going into this field. Maybe I could direct that to Dr. Strittmatter so that we have somebody to
Sure. Yeah. Okay. At CEPLAS, the consortium what I'm working for at the moment, actually we have a variety of activities, and that does not only start in the later stages of the school career, but indeed it starts in kindergarten. Kindergartens in the region, they come to the university in Düsseldorf and Cologne and have the possibility to do simple experiments, for example. Our scientists go out to the schools and mentor them in practical work. So I think the important thing is you shouldn't start too late. And it has to, my personal experience is everything that is a kind of playing, that is what attracts young kids for thinking also about scientific careers. At least that was the case for me. It's the kind of way you present even complicated and complex issues, and that depends a lot on the teachers, how they do that, how you have own practical access to it. And nowadays, of course, I think the young kids, they are really severely engaged in a discussion about the global challenges which I have mentioned and all the speakers have mentioned. So you don't have to attract them to the topic at all. You just should be ready to accept different views and also not try to convince them by scientific expertise. But it has a lot to do, the last speaker said it, with trust. And you as a person have to be trustful and convincing that they believe in you and that it really matters to be engaged in science.
I can parlay off that a little bit, right down in the trench. So we're involved in a project with a nonprofit called Pilot Light that was founded by a bunch of chefs in Chicago, and they developed a fellow program for teachers that allows teachers to learn how to use food as context for delivering essentially any content, like be it science, be it art, be it whatever. I heard about these folks and got very excited about it, and we're writing a grant right now. The Danforth and the JJK Fan are involved in this as well, where we're developing a program to train K through 8 teachers from District 189 in East St. Louis, a group from Decatur, and a group from Chicago in this methodology to reach that K through 8 group. So the goal is to start having the food story alive in their classrooms early, connect that to any content, and then start to segue in-school activities with out-of-school activities to build an understanding and awareness of food. And the things that kids do that's really important, they get their parents on board. Right? They start talking about this at home, they get excited about it at home, but that's a strategy that we're developing right now that'll be going active here probably in about 9 months.
That's excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I know that's true. I remember my child telling me to turn the tap off while I was brushing my teeth
There you
because
go,
they heard
right?
that at school. So
There you go, right?
I do that now.
Good job.
Exactly. Great. I think that another question we had for Dr. Packer was about how the carbon market can help put money back into the pockets of the farmers. Is there a plan for trying to kind of monetize that in a way that the growers will benefit?
I think directly to the pocket, not now, but we have here in Brazil a program that called low carbon agriculture. It's a public policy that it have like a bunch of technology, no-till, cover crops, biologic nitrogen fixation, integrated systems with trees and grains and livestock. So we already have this, all this way to go with low carbon agriculture, with a public policy, and this nowadays it reduces the incomes from the loans for the farmers. This is the direct way now, but not to have the money in the pockets. I think in the future, if we can establish like more specifically more specifically technician indicators of sustainability, build up a really a robust carbon footprint calculator, we can use it in the market and have the money in the pockets. But now, not now. We have like in some cities, but it's a municipality law that's called payment for environment services. But it's more located to preserve the water, to preserve the forests inside the property. It's not really directed for the market carbon. But I think it's in the future, and I don't think it's like for 10 years, but in 2 or 3 years, I think this carbon market will be like regulated here in Brazil, and yes, they could have money on the pocket.
Thank you. I think that's very interesting for a lot of the people here that are listening today. I really have learned a lot from the different presentations, and I'd just like to give an opportunity if any of the speakers want to make a final comment before we wrap up our Q&A session. Dr. Strittmatter?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment with regard to the last point. I think it will be very important to participate the farming system, the farmers, in this CO2 market. With CO2 certificates, for example, an example in Germany, if you drive an electrical car in Germany, you can sell your CO2 certificates, and such systems, I think, are also applicable in the farming system. So I think that will be a very important point, the participation of the farmers actually in this field.
Great. thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, this is Satyendra. So past few hours, it has been great learning from all the speakers. It's. I would like to thank Bayer Crop Science for giving me this opportunity. And what I would like to emphasize again here, the bottom line would be, to have more and more public-private partnerships to meet those challenges, emerging challenges. I am confident that we can sort out if there are some, issues in making those partnerships successful. But in the years to come, we should thrive and be successful to address the challenges of society, challenges of farmers, and helping the globe to become a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like to invite Dr. Graham, Mike Graham, to come to the stage and transition us from this session to our closing.
That is like the first in years. But first, just a big thank you. An incredibly important topic, and I wanted to thank the fellows for bringing this in front of us. Just a great topic, and really important as we think about where we are today, where we want to go, and what we need to do to ensure that the capabilities, the technologies that we are building, but also our partners in both industry and academia are also working on. So a big thank you for the fellows for putting this together. Also a big thank you for the speakers. It's just incredible as you go around the world to see the challenges, opportunities that they have, the way that we can partner with them to help in those journeys, but then also how we can start working together differently and better as we move forward. I want to share quickly, I know I've only got a few minutes, but you said it doesn't matter, so but I want to share maybe just a personal story from last night. We had the opportunity to take Kim out for dinner last night, and just a wonderful, wonderful person to interact with and engage with. But I was thinking on the drive home, why haven't Kim and I actually done more together? We're not very different. Both have passion around breeding. I wasn't trained by Tom.
Oh,
That's the big difference. But have a passion around breeding, have a passion about how do you bring technology to improve the work that we do. We have a passion around people and how does that really accelerate what we're trying to do as an organization, as a company. And the key thing I left with is we don't spend enough time thinking about it. We get so busy on our day-to-day activities and believing that these are the most important things that we need to solve today. So a key thing coming out of here is just take a little bit more time to think about how you can contribute more broadly than what you're doing today, how you can think about partnering with somebody else and different that is maybe in a different part of the organization or outside in academia that can really help accelerate where we want to go. Because that is really, really where the heart and the fruit and the opportunity of what we have that sits in front of you. And if you believe that the problem that we're working on, which is one of the largest, most complex problems in the world, the only way that's going to get solved if we do much more of these interactions between industry and academia, and for sure, we can solve them together. So a big thank you and a big thank you to the speakers.
That mean you're going to spend more time together? Excellent. That's good. I'm grateful to hear that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for this great session and welcome to the official closing ceremony of this year's ICS 2023. With me on stage today is Elzandi, Head of Crop Technology, and I need to read corn, soy, and cotton. Thank you for joining me on stage today and thank you for joining us here in Monheim.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, what a week it's been. They say time flies when you're having fun, and we had 4 days of innovation in crop science, everything around the topic, design, develop, and deliver. But before we go into the retrospective, let's take a look at the KPIs. And I hope you can see them. Yes, here they are. taking a look at how many people visited ICS. One ICS, but we've been live in 4 regions this year. In EMEA, in LATAM, in APAC, and in North America. And it's been a pleasure to be live on stage in all 4 areas. We had over 4,000 people registering for this ICS, and over half of them registered for in-person participation. Thank you all for being with us. It was a really great pleasure, and we really hope that you enjoyed this year's ICS. We had more crop-up videos than last year. We had more number of volunteers than last year, but we also had a significant more amount of posters last year. So thank you very much for all the people who did the posters. 450 posters this year. I think this is worth an applause for everyone. So this was a truly global ICS, and this was your first ICS, right?
That's right.
So what was your favorite ICS moment? Or could you pinpoint any favorite ICS moment? Or do you want to reflect on your experience this year?
There's a few things that I want to highlight. I just want to start off with thanking the Monheim site for hosting me this week. This was fabulous to be here. Me and Marco had a deal. He went to Chesterfield and I came here. And Marco, I just want to declare, I had so many people telling me it was a great deal for Monheim. That switch. So we can do it again next year. I want to start by saying it was indeed my first ICS. Last year, during ICS, I was not officially in this role yet, but I was here in Monheim, and I observed my new colleagues, which I had a little bit of interaction with while I was attending other meetings, attending ICS, and I was already super excited about this year and having the opportunity to attend. And what I can say is, every session that I attended exceeded my expectation. It was really excellent to attend every session that I went to, and I'm sure the other ones that I missed was the same for those of you that could have attended it. There's a few things that grabbed my attention that I want to share. I want to start off by the smallholder session. It was me coming from APAC in my previous role to see where we are and the progress that we've made in our 100 million smallholders that we want to serve and take technology to. That was inspiring and encouraging to see where we're at. But what even further impressed me was to notice that we are sincerely and concretely making progress to shift from inputs to something that's bigger than just product. It's either a system, it's either a solution, you can call it whatever you want. Doesn't matter whether you think about the direct seeded rice example or Mark's story on Mamatela, or you think about the Better Life farming centers. All these are concrete examples of where we take our science, our expertise, we combine it, and we truly and sincerely helping these smallholders to be more efficient, increase their profitability, and do it in a safe and responsible way. Then I want to shift to the veg seed session. Ben was talking about how gene editing can change how we do breeding in veg seed. And he equated to, which I really like because I hate Rubik's Cubes, I cannot solve them. He said, instead of solving the Rubik's Cube, now we're going to take a paintbrush and we're going to paint it the colors that we wanted. I really like the idea, but for me, it resonated with our aspiration. We said, we as one R&D organization don't want to develop products, we want to design them the way that we want them to operate. So technologies like gene editing is going to enable us and help us live that aspiration. And that to me is super encouraging. The last one that I want to touch on was the Green Deal session. First of all, I did not expect to come to a science session and have people share the message in a manner that any human being can grasp what we're doing and what it means and the impact that it can have. I loved the idea, and I can't remember who shared it. I think it was Dirk, I'm not sure, that talked about how we're going to take the biologics, we're going to take our crop protection products, and we're going to have a solution where we are protecting the environment, we are supplying the farmer with the peace of mind that they can solve the problem, they can still be productive, and they can meet the higher standards and requirements that they now need to adhere to. That is the solution. The other example that I really liked was the short stature cone, Precision system. Having that explained in the sense of we think about carbon emission savings equal to, and I think the number was 174 billion charging cell phones. And if you think about what we can do potentially on nitrogen, I think it was something like 91 billion charging cell phones. That's something that even my 14-year-old can wrap her mind around because she does not miss charging a cell phone. At the end of the day, it is about having more milk with less input, with less methane, with less negative output on the environment. And that is what we're doing through the science. This week was not just about sharing brilliant science. It was all about recognizing the brilliant minds that's making this magic happen. And that is every member of this research and development organization. I want to end by saying thank you, a sincere thank you to every member of our team and everything that you do for our company, for our customers, and for the industry. You are having an impact, especially